The protest was set for Sunday, but activists from all over the country showed up Saturday morning instead. This was the same play they used last month. Wow, these people are sneaky! Is it really a protest when people show up with wire cutters and plans to rescue 2,000 beagles? Let's take a look.
Animal rights activists from across the country say they are planning to come to Dane County this weekend. They say their plan is to rescue all of the dogs still inside Ridglan Farms.
The facility in western Dane County breeds beagles for scientific experiments. The owners recently agreed to give up their breeding license by this summer to avoid animal cruelty charges. Last month, more than 60 activists raided the farm and removed 22 beagles. This Sunday, they say they plan to send 2,000 people in to get the rest of the dogs.
So there you have it. This is being framed as a protest. But what you're actually hearing is the activists are planning on coming back, breaking and entering, and getting the rest of the dogs. That's not legal. Check out the rest.
Video message posted on Wednesday. Dane County Sheriff Kelvin Barrett says he supports their First Amendment right to protest.
But we have to draw a decisive line between peacefully protesting and disagreeing and violently breaking into a facility, damaging property, and stealing private property.
So the sheriff said more than 60 of the activists were going to be brought up on criminal charges. That's everything from burglary and theft to property damage and possessing stolen property. Those would be the beagles. So this has already crossed a legal line. Now, I think that the county and state police may have recovered 8 of the beagles, but I think about 20 are still out there. And I did watch a special news report where one of the reporters went to an undisclosed location and got to meet one of these dogs. You can't make this stuff up. Now, I kept seeing TikTok saying that this protest turned violent, that local and state police were using pepper spray and tear gas. But the question I kept asking was this really a protest?
Right now, several animal rights activists are in the Dane County Jail after trying to break into Ridglan Farms in the town of Blue Mounds. Ridglan Farms breeds beagles for biomedical research. This is the second reported attempt to breach the property after a similar incident on March 15th. New at 10, Lauren Abuzet has you covered on what unfolded.
A lot of people are bleeding and hurt on the ground.
That's how activists described the scene after a planned protest at Ridglan Farms escalated Saturday. Hundreds.
I'm going to pause it there. So you can see how chaotic it is. And already it sounds like people were being arrested on Saturday. And you heard the mention of pepper spray and tear gas. So there was a lot going on. I'm going to turn the volume down a bit here, but I want to play some more of this footage. So this is Wisconsin, right? Cheese curds, house on the rock. Hazmat suits? Oh, wow. I got to pause on that. I'm not sure they're actually hazmat suits, but that's what those white suits look like. So I did some investigating, and it turns out that last month during the break-in, the activists used these suits. And I don't know if it was to protect them from the facility itself or the actual dogs, but there were so many suits on Saturday that I'm wondering if all those people were showing up planning to break in the facility. So that's just pretty wild in my mind. I want you to see this, though, because there should be another shot where you can see, like, there's some right there. But see them right there? There are a lot of these suits, especially when you do some wide shots of the entire field. All right, I do want you to hear this next part.
Right to go in, and the police hurting people. When we have a legal backing is, honestly, it's very distressful.
Children.
So what that girl was saying is that they had legal backing. I don't know what that means. It certainly doesn't give you the right to go onto private property and snatch animals. So, you know, who knows? I'm going to go out on a limb here and say some people were there to protest and some people were there to break the law. And I'll be honest, I wouldn't bring my kids and parents to something where I knew people were going to break the law, and there were a lot of grannies and tiny tots there that I saw. And so this is where my heartstring comes into play.
For 60 years, the commercial breeder in western Dane County has sold beagles to laboratories, where they are used to test things like the maximum lethal dose of a new drug or the effectiveness of a new vaccine. And while those experiments are controversial, they are also legal. But in early 2025, Dane County Judge Rhonda Lanford found probable cause that Ridglan had committed crimes of animal cruelty by allowing unlicensed staff to perform surgeries on the dogs without anesthesia. She appointed a special prosecutor from another county to investigate. But instead of filing criminal charges, he cut a deal, allowing Ridglan and its owners to avoid charges if they close the breeding operation for good by this summer.
So yeah, the facility has been under investigation for years, as you can see. There have been allegations, a judge found probable cause to investigate, so I get it. But there is still a legal process to go through. Activists can't just go into a facility and remove the dogs, but that's exactly what they did last month and what they tried to do on Saturday, but were prevented from doing by local police. Now, according to the authorities, there is no ongoing emergency right now that would require removing the dogs so quickly. I mean, they have a deadline of July 1st to close the breeding facilities, and I do believe they have to find new homes for the dogs by then. So I really don't understand what the emergency was that these activists needed to break the law just a few months before this deadline takes place. That's just me. I did want to mention, and I'm going to show you this real quick here. This is the 6 or 7 page court documents. This is from PETA, but you can actually look at all of the allegations online and review these for yourself. I always like to tell people that because most of these facts are out there. Here's one for the heartstrings. This really broke my bleeding heart when I watched this. I mean, makes me want a beagle too.
Shannon, explain why beagles. Explain to our viewers why this breed is used for testing in particular.
Yeah, unfortunately, and this is so horrific, Wolf, when I did my very first beagle rescue from a laboratory, I was told by someone who worked in the laboratory that beagles are used for testing because they are so docile and forgiving. And forgiving was the word that hurt me so much. And I said, what do you mean forgiving? And she said, well, because we can go in, take them out of their cage, test on them, hurt them, do horrible things to them. And the next day we come back and they're wagging their tails and ready for us to just pick them up again because they're just so sweet.
Oh, that's heartbreaking.
That is so heartbreaking. Oh, so heartbreaking. Stories like this really make me sad. But then my no-nonsense side understands that you cannot break the law just because your heart is breaking. And I wish more people understood that right now. You know, First Amendment rights don't mean go break the law. And this can be said about impeding ICE officers as well, because a lot of that is going on. I think people need to take a crash course in the First Amendment before they start going out there and spouting off about what it means. Just my opinion. And with that, please like, subscribe, and comment. This is a new channel and it will really help me grow. And don't forget to pray, stay informed, and be well. This is the Bleeding Heart MAGA signing off.